Nice. So I hope this is going to work. It's very windy. I'm off on the South Downs Way. So I wanted to run through another kit check video after my further Lost Ways race. The main big difference being that I'm using a mountain bike now instead of a gravel bike, and a totally new cradle instead of the rear rack. But I'll go into that. So the Dales Divide is 600k from the west coast of Yorkshire across through the Dales and then the Wolds over to Scarborough, and then back across the Moors and the North Yorkshire Dales. I haven't really looked into the route that much. I've still been pretty wiped from the last race. For some reason I thought it was a good idea to have only a 12-day gap between races, so here we are. So the main change is that I don't have my gravel bike. I'm using this Trek Pro Caliber 9.9 eBay special. Absolutely fantastic bike. I got it last year before a string of mountain bike races and it's brilliant. It's a super lightweight bike. I think it's like 8.8 kilos without anything on it. Very, very fast, way above my pay grade. Got very lucky to get hold of it. On the bike, I've got a massive, I think it's a 1050 cassette on there. Recently, I rode on the South Downs Way and out and back to Winchester, and in true lazy fashion, I got back and then just threw the bike in the garage and didn't do anything about it. When I then came to look at it, the jockey wheels and a lot of the other parts on the bike were completely knackered, so I had to change a few things. So I've got some fancy new jockey wheels from Hope, which seem to be fine. All I've done is a couple of rides since I got back from further Lost Ways. Another thing that happened on that trip was I knackered my rear tyre. I have a habit of blitzing tyres, so I've gone for a Continental Race King. Everyone seems to talk about them. I know they've been replaced by the Dubnatal, but I've gone for the Race King 2.2. It's supposed to be incredibly fast rolling and great for racing. Because of my habit of punctures, late last year I actually put in tyre inserts, the Panzer tyre inserts, installed for me by my good friend Dimitris in Corfu. I chucked them in before the race Sneak Peaks, which is a huge amount of off-road up and downs, and it's run incredibly well. It also means that you can kind of limp home even if your tyre goes completely flat. Also, I've been told, I haven't quite got there yet. Along the top I've got the Brooks top tube bag, and there I'll be storing pretty much, at the moment it's just got my overshoes in, but because of my awful circulation I would probably just wear my overshoes for the entire race. This might be my 6th pair of overshoes in about 6 races. I just trash them. But in here all I've got is headphones, caffeine tablets, some water purification tablets, tyre stabbies, and some chamois cream. For the race I'll have the overshoes on and I'll just stuff this full of almost probably wine gums, let's be honest. And then we got this Restrap small race frame bag. This I did actually use for further Lost Ways. It did arrive in time, thank you the Royal Mail, and thanks to Tom from Restrap for really pushing that to get out. It will be full of these, so SIS gels, as well as a mini pump, which I did forget on the last race, and an electrical pump. And I'll also put my power bank and assorted cables in here, charging cables and stuff. With this Restrap bottle holder, the side mount bottle holder, I managed to squeeze in the toolkit here. The toolkit is largely the same as the last race. So in the toolkit I've got spare sealant, multi-tool, inner tube, tyre boots, tyre plugs, extra tyre plugs, some electrical tape, derailleur hanger for the bike, quick links with the multi-tool, the wolf tooth, pliers, and some super glue, and that's about it. So the big change on the bike being I've opted for the front cradle from Old Man Mountain, the new Manzanita cradle. It has these 2 very good straps that mount through the cradle and then through the front of the bag, these lashing straps that you can really put some tension on. So it's got these neat little mounting hooks, which means you can access the bag without having to take the bag off the cradle, which is quite handy. And then you've also got these stash pockets for filling with whatever. And then all these mounting points here, here, here. Very good. This is the mountain bike bag, and it comes with 11 litres of space, which is more than enough. It's probably only half full. I haven't got that much stuff going on here. But then the gravel bike one has 9 litres, and I have used that for buzzing around quite a lot. and just mooching about. Another thing that's particularly handy is this little valve, this little air valve, so you can really stamp on the bag and squish all the air out and make it as compact as possible. In here, I'll show you what I've got. So I've stashed in basically sleep kit in layers. Sealskin waterproof socks. I'm going for some slightly warmer gloves. I got a bit caught out and further when I was crossing Dartmoor at 4 in the morning, so I've opted for a warm pair of Gore-Wear gloves. I just get cold. These are the Lupra waterproof trousers to go with this waterproof jacket. I've actually got a lot of my layers on now because it's bloody freezing up here. As always, Outkit bivvy, the Hunker XL. Gone for the bigger one, just gives you a bit more space to roll around in, and I like to sort of stretch out on my side. I was actually just about warm enough on further Lostways. I didn't even take my sleeping bag, I just ran with a sleeping bag liner, a pretty crap one as well, an old travelling one. So I've got a slightly warmer Sea to Summit Thermalite reactor, supposedly it adds 5 degrees. I don't know how true that is, but it seems to work. And then again, the Outkit Cloud Base mat. And that's all stuffed in this bag, so pretty good going. One thing I haven't actually managed to try in any of the races yet, which I'm looking forward to, is the Redshift Shock Stop suspension post. They actually sent me this back in October, but since then I've only ridden races on my gravel bike, and my gravel bike has a stupid D-shaped seat post, so I haven't been able to use it, but I have been giving this a good battering since October, and it is fantastic, so I'm really looking forward to using that in the race. Hopefully it adds a level of comfort that I haven't had before. On the bike, I have the Ergon grips. That just gives you a bit more support on your hands. My hands tend to get a bit battered, and it's got like the bull horns, which are quite good for climbing, and it gives you another hand position. I'm going to try a bit of a strategy, which will be to sleep a bit more. I really seem to struggle with the lack of sleep. If it's anything over 36 hours, like 48 hours kills me. Right, I'm gonna have to head home. It's too cold. So the never-ending tinkering has caught up with me due to the news of the massive headwind for the return leg on the Dales Divide. I've decided to upend my setup, and I'm changing from the old man mountain cradle to the Atlas pack and rear rack. I just need, well, I would like to be a little bit more streamlined, and also the main reason being I cannot fit my Redshift aero bars and the cradle for the time being. I know that there is some discussion to add aero attachments for the top of the cradle, but it's quite a new product, so it isn't just out yet. The rear rack and bag and the cradle and bag are actually weigh exactly the same, but now I have added the aero bars. The bike will come to about 16.3 kilos, which is really good before hydration vest. So the last thing to talk about is the layering for the race. And here are my sort of final kit choices for what I'll be wearing on the bike. So red, white cargo bibs. They specifically have like a pad that's designed for ultra long distance. I've had them since October. They've been great, and they also have 4 cargo pockets. Insulated top, gilet. I've got some overshoes, just some, I don't know, cheapy overshoes because I'll trash them. Sealskin socks, some Gore-Wear gloves, an old thermal top from DHB. I've got to use a balaclava for the wind, this Galibia jacket, and some Gore-Wear waterproofs. And the last thing that's going to be on the bike is the hydration vest, which will just be stuffed full of sweets, as per normal. So yeah, looking forward to the race. I wonder how many more things I'll change just before it starts.